Hi, I'm Mark Monlux, and this is your Friday night movie recommendation. The year is 1973, so let's go in the Wayback Machine and take a little look at history. So, 1973, Richard Nixon was still president of the United States. He just done this wonderful trip to China. Thankfully, some peace accords with Vietnam were going through, and prisoners of wars were being released. As soon as those accords were signed, the U.S. military draft was abolished. Additionally, we had later on that year Watergate troubles for President Nixon. Uh, let's look at songs. The Billboard Top 100. We have Tony Orlando and Don singing Tie a Yellow Ribbon Around That Old Oak Tree, which oddly enough is all about people coming home after a long period apart. This kind of tied right in with foreign prisoners of wars coming back. So that song had a lot of relief, cultural relief of kids coming home finally. Let's see, big shows were being released on TV then. We got Barnaby Jones, MASH, Kojak. I loved watching Kojak. You know it, baby. There was also Schoolhouse Rock was being aired at that time. At the Oscars, we had The Godfather ran away with Best Picture. Now, the movie I'm going to recommend from 1973 was nominated for 10 or 11 Oscars. Won two of them. One for Best Screenplay and one for Best Sound. But it had a ton of nominations, but it's kind of hard to go up against The Godfather. And this movie is The Exorcist. Now, you might say, well, Mark, hasn't everyone seen The Exorcist? Why are you recommending this? I'm recommending this because you'll be shocked. I'm shocked how many people have not seen The Exorcist. And a lot of it is because it's a really, really scary movie. Oh my God, is it so scary? The Exorcist, a lot of people point to The Exorcist as the start of sort of like a satanic hysteria that kind of started rolling along in the 70s and kind of just built. People started seeing satanic worshipers. Suddenly people were doing a little bit of witch hunting, blaming things on, these people are satanic worshipers, or these false memories are from this satanic cult I was involved with as a kid. All of this pretty much bogus. But that's how this film isn't just scary. It was shocking. Directed by William Friedkin. He really knew his stuff, and he would make take after take. There are scenes where cold breath is coming out of the actors because the room suddenly got cold. Well, in order to do that, they had to air condition the whole studio set, but with the lights and everything, it would really quick and heat up. So they could film like only at 5 minutes at a time. So filming was slowing because they had to freeze everything back down again. It was it was torturous for the actors and actresses to do. Dick Smith's special makeup effects were astounding. If they had a special makeup effect category, he would have walked away with it. The things that you see on screen were emulated afterwards in many other movies and have become iconic in their own right. the uh, the amount of detail, the amount of attention paid to the color of how things were, the natural light or natural sets. That's one of the things that the director wanted to do, was just to use what was there, the light was that was there. But he also wanted to make sure to use the cameras to take every availability of it. So, for instance, in the scenes in the bedroom, everything's muted, but that's because the colors were chosen. The backgrounds were beige, dimly lit, lights were focused hardly. That was to make all the people really stand out against the background, because it was all about them and their emotions and their involvement. And this director would do things to constantly keep people on edge, and they were calling him, "Oh my God, this guy's nuts," and that is to give them honest, unsettled reactions that couldn't be faked. He worked to get them caught on film. Oh my God, I wanted to see this movie so bad, but in 1973, I was 11 years old and I couldn't go without an adult, and my mom wouldn't let me go with everybody else because our next door neighbor's daughter, Bonnie, saw The Exorcist and couldn't sleep for 2 weeks. When people, that's how frightening this movie was to love. When people came out of the theater, they didn't go home. They milled around and they talked about it with other people outside the theater. This thing did bangers at the box office. As a matter of fact, it set records for a horror movie release that wouldn't be broken for decades. That's how good this film is. It immediately went into production for Exorcist 2, which wasn't really that good. I really liked Exorcist 3, but it kind of launched into other religious movies, more demonic craze and Satanists and what have you started popping up. It got to be, so it becomes this touchstone in history. It's not just a really, really good movie. It becomes a movie that becomes part of the national conversation and has remained part of the national conversation because it's been reviewed, admired, homaged, referred to. It's just huge. And if you haven't seen it, you are missing out on a decades-long water cooler conversation. And I highly recommend that you take the time tonight and watch The Exorcist from 1973. Now, if you like my movie recommendations, please like, follow, subscribe, share, all that noise with me. I really enjoy doing these things with you guys, and I'll have another movie recommendation for you next time.